Hi everybody! Alright, so this time I want to talk to you about eating, which seems like really hard for me to do. A lot of people have to be on specific diets and try to figure out what they're going to eat. For me, it's ridiculously hard. Um, well, first I have celiac, so that just cuts out all gluten. Um, so going gluten-free was not the easiest thing to do, but I did that. But I found out being celiac and being gluten-free, I was not getting enough calories. And I also have an iron deficiency along with hypoglycemia and hypokalemia. So I have to be very, very careful about exactly what foods I eat and how much I put into my body. So I have to make sure that I'm eating like multiple meals a day, high in calories, and they have to be high in iron and have to manage my potassium. Um, so usually I have breakfast, and then I'll have snacks, and then I'll have lunch, and then I'll have snacks, and then I'll have dinner, and then I'll have a snack. Or sometimes I'll have a fourth meal during the day, usually later at night. A lot of the times because it's sleeping pretty much for so many hours, my stomach starts hurting and I start getting really dizzy. So I have to monitor my blood sugar a lot. Because my metabolism is so fast that I literally can eat so much and never even get it out. Um, but I'm also allergic to fish and coconut, and mushrooms. But mushrooms isn't a lot of things. Um, Coconut is in, and gluten, you know how they're like in everything. Um, it's very consistently, I have to be very careful because a lot of times when they take out gluten, they put in coconut. When they take out dairy, they put in coconut, 100%. So if I had to watch my dairy, oh my gosh, I'd just die. I had to once because I was trying to figure out if I was lactose intolerant. I found out I was just allergic to eggs. Um, um, but I have to be very careful about what's in everything that I eat. Um, and so most of the time I'm okay with baked eggs. I'm not good with more towards raw eggs. Still hurts my stomach, but not as bad. Um, so usually I have breakfast, and breakfast contains either a very specific cereal, because I can't have most cereals because they contain coconut because they took out the gluten. I have Chex, chocolate Chex. That is it. That is the only cereal I can have, and that is really sad. So usually I mix it up. I have pancakes, or I have waffles, or I have anything that luckily does not have coconut in it, and syrup, which I have to make sure those don't have coconut in it either. Um, and then I'll have lunch that contains most likely a gluten-free chicken nuggets. I love them. Or mac and cheese. And sometimes I switch it up and I'll have a sandwich. Um, gluten-free, of course. Um, and then my nighttime meal is the biggest meal of the day for me because I try to cram as much food in my mouth for me to go to bed. So I make sure that I'm like completely stuffed. And that is my most high iron count I can possibly get. So steak. Steak is usually my number one thing that I have. Steak chunks, or steak, or ground beef, or turkey, or anything that's really, really high in iron. And I add along with that peas and broccoli and any high iron stuff. And I always add mashed potatoes. I don't care what anybody says. I eat my mashed potatoes. And and um, for my snacks, I usually have Doritos or Cheetos or fruit snacks. And then I have raspberries or kiwis, bananas, obviously. Um, and then for drinks, Sprite. I'm bad. I have Sprite. And then I have apple juice and orange juice, and I try to have as much as possible. I try to avoid dairy. A lot of things are dairy free because dairy does somewhat upset my stomach. Eggs are horrendous. Um, so I really try to make sure that I'm trying to be dairy free, but when you go dairy free, coconut's almost involved in everything. So I try to avoid that, so I'll have minimum dairy. And I have not been tested for that. I'm lactose intolerant. I just know what I'm not going to eat because it hurts. So eating is a very, very big thing for me, and I have to be very careful about what I eat. So going out is almost like absolutely impossible. But luckily, thanks to my service dog, I can now eat freely and just have her tell me whether or not I can eat my food. But that's for another time. Alright, thank you for listening. Bye!